Incorrect.
Before we start today's video, check out our merch shop, linked in the description down below. Use code Ahsoka in all caps to get $7 off your order. May the Force be with you, and enjoy the vid.
Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's up guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and as you guys just saw there, Ariana Greenblatt, who plays young Ahsoka in the Ahsoka Disney Plus show, had recently taken to share some new behind-the-scenes footage of an epic Ahsoka lightsaber fight sequence with Hayden Christensen. Not just that, but we also have some new reveals and even teases for the future of the Mandoverse and the overall franchise, with a possible potential Ahsoka Season 2, something being in the works. We of course are going to go ahead and hop right on into it. Before we do though, however, grab that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're covering daily Star Wars news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel, so if you guys are into any of that, go ahead and grab that subscribe button and join us here today. Taking a read from Entertainment Weekly, Hayden Christensen may be the chosen one, but that didn't stop Ariana Greenblatt from giving it her all on the Disney Plus show, Ahsoka. Greenblatt had portrayed the young version of the Jedi, Ahsoka, otherwise played by Rosario Dawson, and shared some of the new behind-the-scenes footage over on Twitter, or X, of her brushing up on her lightsaber skills against the Star Wars vet, Hayden Christensen. She reads that, from the practice stage to the sound stage, she had captioned in the post, early walkthrough choreography with the chosen one. Ending that quote right there, very straightforward, and just like sharing some new footage here on what it was like to work on the Ahsoka show. This comes especially now that the actors' SAG-AFTRA strike has now concluded. We have been hearing a lots of new reveals and behind the scenes and teases even from the Ahsoka cast and crew members now, since both of the Writers Guild of America and the actors' SAG-AFTRA strikes have both now ended and finally have come to a conclusion. And so per those union guidelines, they're now able to discuss and talk about many of their projects and shows and stuff that they've been working on for the last year at this point. Hayden Christensen has of course reprised his role as Anakin Skywalker, better known throughout a galaxy far away as Darth Vader, on episode 5 of the first season of Ahsoka, dueling his former Padawan in the world between worlds. I think that one thing that I especially really like and love here about the Ahsoka show, for one, but also with all the many different behind the scenes teases and footage and everything from the behind the scenes atmosphere that we have seen here for the Ahsoka show, it feels very reminiscent to what George Lucas's Star Wars vision looked like. Like if you ever go back and you look at the older behind the scenes videos and DVD discs or whatever, you know, they may have of the creation of the prequels or of even the original trilogy, it feels very reminiscent of that, and it's really cool to see that like still live on in today's age. With the two characters, of course, having a long history from the Clone Wars animated show, with Ahsoka bearing witness to her friend and mentor succumbing to the dark side. Hayden Christensen had previously starred in the 2002's Attack of the Clones and 2005's Revenge of the Sith, while making his epic Star Wars comeback in the 2022's Obi-Wan Kenobi. And while Ahsoka creator Dave Filoni had developed the Clone Wars animated show, exploring Anakin's journey between those two films. He is taking that legacy and continuing it on. And furthermore, of a bit of a tidbit, something that we'll discuss in more detail as we especially also hear more about it, something that I've heard is that Hayden Christensen is looking to return to the acting world and to the acting industry in Hollywood as a whole, but especially for Star Wars specifically, it really does seem that not only has the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, but also the Ahsoka show have both kind of sparked up his interest in once again wanting to go back to a galaxy far away. Hayden Christensen and Dave Filoni had bonded over their shared experience in the Star Wars universe, with Dave Filoni praising the erstwhile Anakin's Jedi mystery. His lightsaber skills are just insane, Filoni told Entertainment Weekly. I mean, he is the chosen one, there's no doubt of that, Filoni says in quotes. According to Filoni, some of his favorite days on the Ahsoka set were just watching Hayden Christensen and Ariana Greenblatt having that connection and having that character kind of drawn out of their personalities for another. It's almost as if they're not even acting, they're just being each other. And I think that to be especially really cool. Filoni says that in quotes, "It gave me a pause just to stand there and look at him in the costume, Hayden, standing next to Ariana. He said, "Because in my mind, it really is no different, no matter what the medium is. The image is always Anakin with Ahsoka. That older brother and younger sister dynamic is something I love." I think that quote right there. And I love the way that Filoni expresses and embraces, changing around mediums from going from animation and now being in the live action atmosphere of things here, especially within the Mandoverse, directing and co-creating alongside Jon Favreau with The Mandalorian and with the Book of Boba Fett, now having Ahsoka. Skeleton Crew also said to be coming out next year as well. He's taking that and he's bringing it into live action, and I think that's the coolest thing ever. And especially for the fact of that, as I had mentioned, he's so into it, like with the idea of it doesn't matter what medium is or what it is exactly, if it's animation, if it's live action, if it's in a novel, or if it's in a comic, if it's in a video game, it's always going to be that same kind of story and that same kind of atmosphere with those two different characters of Anakin and Ahsoka. That older brother and younger sister dynamic is something I absolutely love. And so the big question from here is exactly what does this mean for the future of the franchise, for one, but especially within these characters, within the Mandoverse, with Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka, and everyone in between this expansive universe that we call the post-Return of the Jedi era, the Mandoverse. Well, I believe for one, with each new tease and each new day, it feels almost we're getting something new of a tidbit, especially now that the strikes are over and have concluded. They seem to always be sharing something and always be discussing and talking about such a memorable experience of what it was to work on Star Wars, what it was to work on the Ahsoka show. So for one, narratively wise and storytelling wise, there's definitely a story still to be told, especially with that cliffhanger that we were left with at the end of Ahsoka Season 1. And well, as I had mentioned, it feels with each new day comes a new tease, a new tidbit for what we may see in the future of Ahsoka and a possible potential Ahsoka Season 2. Now, there's two different ways that I feel that we're always discussing here on the channel that this can go. Either they do an Ahsoka Season 2, or they wrap it all up in Dave Filoni's Mandoverse Cultimation movie. But let's face it, I think that we would all rather prefer another 8 episodes of Ahsoka in a Season 2. One other tidbit that we've heard here recently, and something yes, of course, I will discuss in more detail and in more depth in a full video here on the channel in the future, all the more reason to grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, is that something that we've heard about The Mandalorian Season 4 and Ahsoka is that they don't want to blend the storyline, as into the fact of that they don't want Ahsoka to take over The Mandalorian Season 4, essentially, and that they want to keep the two kind of separate. Of course, it is all one cohesive environment or storytelling narrative of what the Mandoverse exactly is, of where you do have these different characters popping up in each other's shows, but for the actual main storyline of what they want to do with Ahsoka Season 2, or in Dave Filoni's Mandoverse Cultimation movie, or the Thrawn movie much rather, that they would want to keep it separate from The Mandalorian Season 4. That's great news, and I think it adds on to that resume, essentially, of that they do want to do an Ahsoka Season 2, and it is something that they are working towards. Anyway, guys, with this here all being said, I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. What are you guys looking forward to seeing in the future of the Mandoverse, especially with Ahsoka? Do you want an Ahsoka Season 2? Let me know what you guys are all thinking in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.